one of our teammates, let alone Edie, the Lou Award week 1. Are they nuts?
Are they crazy? It's never happening. Never going to happen.
Never going to happen. Baby Blue is never even going to be mentioned for the Lou Award, but that's beside the point.
Player of the week only for us. They got to realize 100%. That it's happening.
100%. Anyway, all right, we can start recording.
Okay, yeah. So, cool. And we are back, everyone, for the podcast. Another episode here. This is the recap for season 3, week 2. Here once again with my co-host Matt Nahoda. Welcome in, Edie behind the scenes. How you doing this week, Matt?
Wonderful. Happy to be here. Another depressing loss for Baby Blue, but we'll get into that in a minute.
We'll get into that right now, actually, because we played week 1, game 1 this week. Sorry. We lost to the Yellow Light Hustlers in a toughly contested battle, 75-63. The Yellow Light Hustlers out-rebounded us 51-38. They out-assisted us 19-14, and they outshot us from the field 47% to our 33%. What a game from newcomer Dan Fink once again. He had 27, 30, and 9. Triple-double watch, Rookie of the Year watch, MVP watch, and Player of the Week watch with 33 pi this week. Great game from Ian Suave Rosa. He had 25, 5, and 8. A solid game from Arif, 8-1-1. A great SDL debut for Chris Tejada. Shout out, Chris. Mm-hmm. Showed up on short notice. We needed a substitute player. Came in, fit in seamlessly, played great with the guys. I played with him before. He had 13 and 5. And Bobby Buckets filled in for the Yellow Light Hustlers over there. Not many stats for Bobby, just one atrocious moving screen call. Moving on. For the
and
Baby
one nasty
Blue
toe out of bounds.
Oh, the nasty toe out of bounds. I didn't want to bring that up. We might get flagged. Anyways, for the Baby Blue banter, it was a good game for Lewis. Lewis had 29 and 8. Nahoda 8, 7 and 4. Edie had 6, 5 and 4. Myself 8, 7 and 6. But it was a tough week for Baby Blue out here. Tough from the field. We couldn't get going offensively. Is an absolute monster down low. What did you think, Nahoda? You had to go up against him, and he went up against Big J last week. How's the league gonna deal with Fink?
They're not double, triple teams. I mean, look, you have Big J week 1 and me week 2, and the guy put up 70 and 60 with probably 18 assists or 15 assists. I equated it in our team chat to a 12-year-old playing with their high school senior older brother. I mean, just if he's not getting the rebound, he's getting a finger on it, and he's tipping it to himself. Just toying with the defense, toying with the other team. The guy's incredible. To boot, he's got a motor that runs like Jared, and it's insane how how he just kind of flows and moves around the court. Good luck to everybody else that doesn't have somebody that's 6'4", 230 pounds plus. And good luck to those that don't move their feet. Jay gets away with it because he's got a 7-foot wingspan. Everybody else down low, I mean, it's going to be, we might see the first SDL triple team. Jay put it in the banter last night, or it might have been the SDL 8 chat, but it's going to be weird seeing the first SDL triple team in history. Just wild stuff.
Yep. Absolute great touch around the rim. This is my first time really seeing him play. Absolute, Hakeem Olajuwon style, using different angles around the hoop. He's going to be a menace in this league. So absolutely Yellow too. When they get their full team, Jose, he called his own game this week on the broadcast booth. When he gets in there and they get rolling, Yellow is going to be at the top of the standings this year. No doubt they're going to be a menace in the playoffs. You don't want to see Yellow.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to just go run the highlight reel for Fink. You'll see that I forced, genuinely, and I was proud of myself, 4 or 5 what I would consider bad shots. I got him fading away from the hoop. I got him, to his offhand, which he doesn't really have one, but him putting up a one-handed floater at a tough angle, and he's just kissing it off the backboard and putting it in, and it makes it look effortless, which makes it even worse. So good luck to everybody else.
Yep, good game.
Moving on, game 2, probably the tightest game of the night. Muscle 64 over the White Sneaker Warriors. 62, or the Cream Sneaker Warriors, 62. Look, I think the main key for Maroon in what was a bit of a revenge game was Javon. 18 points, then 7 boards, 1 assist. I'm not going to run through everybody's stats. Calford, almost an untraditional triple-double. 11, 14, 4 assists, but 8 steals. Really crazy stuff. Pepper, an unusual Pepper game. Fun fact, I don't know how often this happens in the SDL. All 5 guys, double-digit scoring. 18, 13, 11, 11, and 11, which is really weird. Big J leading the way for White, 22 and 9. When was the last time Jay didn't have double-digit rebounds?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened? I'm not even sure. And the only other call out is Brett Halpern, his first double-digit game, his first double-double in the SDL, 13, 14, and almost a triple-double. with 7 assists. So shout out Brett Halpern, upstart Maroon, new look Maroon. I underrated them. I think in the beginning of the season, my AP poll, I think I moved them up a notch or two. You take down Big J and that white team. You put some respect on the name. I think Maroon's a little bit better than I initially gave them credit for. So shout out Maroon.
Yep.
And game 3.
I agree. Yep. Rolling right into game 3 here. We had this was the most intense game of the night. If you were in the gym, you could feel it. This was the Purple Patio Pounders versus the Red Eye Rebounders. Came down to an Elam last second bucket. Next bucket wins. Purple pulled it out. 54-51. Huge 3-pointer at the end there. Vasquez with an absolute monster game. 40, 17, and 3. Player of the week candidate. Red actually beat them in most statistical categories this game. They out-rebounded them. They beat them in assists. They both shot 29% from the field, which is strange to see both teams shoot the exact same percent. But what a great game from Vasquez, because he was the only one really to score on Purple this week. You take away his 40 points, they only put up 14 more points besides him. They were absolutely in need of every single point that he put up. Missing Armando this week. He was out. Didn't make it. Red also missing Mean Gene. They had a big game again from Sissio. 3-11, Esco at 15 and 14. They had a chance to win it at the end with a buzzer beater in the Elam. They missed it. Purple got it. Purple hit the shot. They won the game. Once again, those are two teams similar, obviously, in talent level. They're right there. You don't want to see either of those guys in the playoffs. Vasquez going crazy. Jared running around playing absolutely monster defense. You
Dancing,
got Vlad.
kicking.
Yep, yes, that's true. Vlad was cold this week. We got to give him a little bit of shout out. 4 for 24 from the field. Elo got a few buckets out there. He was also cold from the floor, 1 for 6. But they don't really need those guys as much if Vasquez is pouring it on like that. Our offensive player of the year last year, continuing it this season. Had a cold week 1. Takes everyone a little bit to get going. We know that. But Purple with a full team, I mean, we know we played them week 1. They play hard. They play tough. They try to play some mind games on the court. They get to talking out there. They're definitely the most barking team out there. And they got an edge to them. What do you think, Mac? Real quick, just your thoughts on that game.
40 of a team's 54 points is insane.
Yes.
I don't have it in front of me. Do you know what he shot percentage-wise?
I can pull it up in about 1 second.
I'm curious. I'll keep going. But that was insane. Again, Esco hasn't scored 20 points this season, which is interesting. Now, Captain Matt's put up combined 50 points in he had 37 week 1. Combined 60 points.
41%.
That's crazy. Yeah,
yep.
that's some look. That's a huge player of the week candidate. I've got a decision to make on POT. I think it's a 2-horse race, maybe a 3-horse race this week with there's a couple 40 bombs, but percentage of team points is kind of insane, especially when you have a teammate that shoots 17%, missed 20 shots.
Yep.
And then also on Red, just as an FYI, in a loss, this is not like Jared doesn't score a lot. He goes games without scoring. It's very common to see him go 0 for 4.
Mm-hmm.
Rosenthal 0 for 5. Had 0% shooting. Did have 12 rebounds, but it's very un-Rosenthal like, especially because Rosenthal's not shooting from the outside a ton. He is making cuts,
usually
making layups.
He shoots 45-50% from the field. That's what I'm saying. Yep.
Seeing him 0 for 5 is very, very interesting in that Luke candidate spot. Now, moving on to the third game, the number 1 AP poll Gray taking down the champs, 72-64. Gray over the black team. Gray out-rebounded, out-assisted. Again, another weird one. Both teams shot the exact same percent, 33%. Here's the other player of the week candidate. I think he's going to be a little bit lower. Didn't get the double-digit rebounds in a relatively small pie, considering what his other teammates put up. But season 1, Opoy Dennis, 40 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and silver with an 18-17 game. Really incredible. Ravitz, 1 for 9 would be a Lou candidate if they didn't win. And on the other side, black team, kind of a weird spread. Bregman with 22 points led the team. Lon, 12 and 15, pretty common for him. Jose, 15 and 13 and 8, triple-double watch. So some interesting stats put up there. This game didn't feel exciting. It just felt like two juggernauts going at it, and Gray just had that second gear that was just able to win that game. And black really isn't clicked. Some are saying Sasson, this core 4 kicking Sasson off after kicking Armando off. They didn't seem to be clicking. They won week 1, obviously, pretty handedly, but that second one, they're just not. Something doesn't seem right with black. They're just not their normal selves. So really interesting to see what the next few weeks have for black before they go into their bye.
Yep, they took a little while to get going in season 2 as well.
That's
Gray
true.
kind of hit a wall there. If you were watching the game, Gray was absolutely firing on all cylinders until they hit Elam. Elam was probably the longest Elam of the night last night between Gray and Black. They just could not get those 9 points. And then all of a sudden, a Jose 3, a Goodman 3, a blah, blah, blah. They got it a lot closer because this game was a bigger lead than it shows in the final score. But yeah, Black,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about them. I know they're going to be rolling. Gray going to be top of the leaderboards all season with Dennis, Camper, Silver, Ravens. They got a squad over there. But rolling into the last game of the night, we had the blue collar ballers going up against the green lawn gladiators. This is the first time we got to see the green lawn gladiators in action. They got no preseason games together. Week 1, missing a bunch of guys, or Saka at least, a few guys out there. So the blue collar ballers were able to pull it out. They got one of their main guys back this week, Rosenberg, back from his cruise. But Perry.
2 cruises back to back.
Oh, yeah, 2 cruises. I didn't even know that. Oh, that's actually news to me. Wow. Oh, man, Rosenberg. Yeah. But Blue absolutely dominated the rebound battle. They won 64-46. They controlled the boards. I was doing the TikTok stream during this game, and I just want to let you guys know the TikTok stream was in love with Dr. Perry. They were saying he needs to get a script for his back because he was carrying the team this game. 43, 20, and 5, 32 pie. Player of the week candidate, Dr. Perry, was absolutely on fire. I know what it's like to share the court with this guy when he's feeling it, and he was lighting up. Rosenberg complimenting very well with 12 and 8, the Wall with 10 and 3. On the other side of the ball, you had Saka with 28, 5 and 4. Bomber, who was hot in the first half, 15 and 10, but Blue
10 rebounds for Balmer's insane.
Yeah.
The guy weighs 100. That's insane.
And at double-digit boards out there. I mean, a couple, almost triple-double watch, only 5 assists, but, getting up there. So, I mean, good game for Bomber.
That's crazy.
Green right now, they got a mesh, obviously. Nogues went down in the third quarter, injured his wrist. We've seen some pictures there. He had to get a brace for that. Nogues, heal up, buddy. But Green's got a mesh. They haven't played much together. Blue, we got obviously a bunch of guys out there. I like Blue's roster. Perry, Rosenberg, the Wall. They got a complete team over there. What did you think, Matt? Last game of the night, real quick. Quick thoughts on it.
Perry, incredible game. Watching that guy play basketball is insane. Watching somebody play basketball and not change their facial expression once is kind of a wild thing. But yeah, shout out Nogues. Hopefully he gets a little bit better and heals up. But Green, Green's at the bottom of the AP poll pretty consistently next to us. They scored 66, outscores half the league this week. I think if I did that math right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. Yeah, 6 teams. Sorry. That puts them in the upper half in offense. Look, if you've got somebody that can score 30 points a game like Saka and just be a fit on defense and tips and steals, I mean, you could be in any game.
Correct. Yep.
So before moving on to next week, we've got Player of the Week and the Lou. I'll take Player of the Week this week. Man, I'm torn between 2. I'm just going to talk this out with everybody. I'm torn between 2, Vasquez and Perry. Vasquez only because he has slightly higher pie. They're both in the 30s, which is an insane usage stat. But Perry had 3 more rebounds, 2 more assists, and 3 more points. I've got to give it to Perry for 43 points, which I think would be second or third most all time in the SDL. Dennis has scored on the nose 40 quite a few times, and I think he holds the record at 48. I think Vasquez had 45 or 46 ones. Top 3 all-time scoring performance, 20 boards, 5 assists. I gotta go with Dr. J, Jason Perry, 32 pie, Player of the Week. Congratulations. Not like he's ever going to hear this. I don't know if Perry's a watcher of the pod, but maybe he is.
Right. I think he is. They definitely be watching over there, Perry. But well-deserved, absolutely monster game. Shout out Vasquez, Perry, Fink. Yeah. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, Vasquez, I wanted to give it to you. I really did. It's so hard.
A huge, absolute monster week performances for Player of the Week. And on the opposite side of the ball, there weren't that many Lou candidates this week. Everyone was decent. And if you were a Lou candidate for the most part, your team won. So as we know, we really don't like to give the Lou to a winning team. And we haven't done that yet. And we're not going to do it today. So what we're going through, I'm just going to go through the candidates real quick. These are the guys on winning teams. They're not going to win the Lou this week. We had Rav 1 for 9, Bobby 2 for 11, D-Lo 1 for 6, had 4 for 24. We got to put an extra star on that one just for the 20 misses, Vlad. You can't win it, but you're right there, right next to it with those 20 misses. But the candidate this week, we spoke on it before, Rosenthal, the dentist. He took his picture this week. I seen it. He had the whole gear on. I love that. But 0 for 5, that's a 0%. In a loss, only lost by a bucket. You guys never know. Maybe you go 1 for 5. That's a different game. Sorry to put the pressure on you. But the Lou this week goes to my buddy, Mikey Rosenthal. That's for you, man.
Yep, I agree. It's the right call. Definitely no other Lou candidates out there. Nope. That is for sure.
Yep, I didn't see any other ones specifically. None from our team. Everyone
Never.
was great. So never. But yep. Well, so right into that, we will move on to week 3, season 3. We got the lines. Let's go right through them. Matt, I'll let you go for the first game.
Cool. So we have Black. Now, word on the street is Adam Bregman is out for Black. I think he might have another Disney trip planned, maybe something else. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But Black out, and then Purple. Obviously, 2-0 Purple. Vasquez with that huge game coming out.
Mhm.
The line currently without Bregman is Black plus 7.5 points. So Purple favored by 8, which is almost our 9-point Elam.
Mm-hmm.
Word on the street is that it would have been Purple favored by 1.5 if Bregman had been there. I'm okay with both of those lines. It's right in that sweet spot. I'm really okay with that. Look, if Vasquez is going to score 40 points a week, they shouldn't be, unfavored or too far outside of a pick 'em for against anybody. I'm really okay with it, genuinely.
Yeah, I gave in last week's podcast, I gave no love to Purple this week. I said with Armando out and Red size, they were going to absolutely dominate the game. And for Purple to come out and win that game without Armando, and for Black this week to be missing, Bregman, who was their leading scorer this week with 22, or last week, excuse me. Yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding for Black this week, but I agree with the line right there, right around that 7.5. Especially with Bregman not there. But roll into game 2 of the week. There we got the White Sneaker Warriors versus the Blue Collar Ballers here. This one's a little surprising to me. I don't think anyone's out. I don't have the injuries in front of me. That's what I don't have. But
no, I think we're clean.
We're clean on that one. Yeah, it's a 5-on-5 game, and they have White as dogs, 4.5-point dogs here. No respect for them after losing a tightly contested match this week against Maroon. Came down to 2 points. White also beat up Yellow in week 1. But Blue, full team this week, came out. Perry was on fire. I think this one, in my opinion, should have been a closer spread. I would almost put this at a pick, in my opinion. I like the game. I like the matchups. Usually the Wall plays Big J very well. Big J, he'll let you know that himself. He even said it yesterday in the chat. He would like to punch one guy in the face. The Wall might be that guy, which was surprising. White coming off a loss, Blue coming off a huge win. I think White's going to be hungry. I think it's going to be a much closely contested battle than that. But like we said, 4.5, that's under Elam. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it depends on what jerseys White's going to wear. If it's the cream team, I like Blue minus 4.5. If it's the White team, I think it's a pick 'em. No, jokes aside, I think Blue might be starting to click.
Right.
Perry and Rosenberg, the Jasons, if they start playing with each other, we thought Blue for a really long time was going to be dangerous. So I don't hate the line, but I think you're right. If it's a little closer, I think he's factoring the jerseys in.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
On to our third game of the week. We've got Yellow, upstart Fink, against a Maroon team that I just laid some respect on. And Yellow minus 9.5 points outside the Elam. Wow, that's crazy. But does Maroon have anybody that can match up with Fink down low? I mean,
I see they don't have, but with Coffer and Pepper, obviously, I don't know what their obviously game plan is, but if you could maybe double with those two guys, they are both two taller guys. I believe Coffer's one of the better defensive players in the league. Scotty Pepper, just with his size and length, could try with both of those guys, but it's tough. Fink is gonna Fink, you know what I mean? He seems like a walking.
Medeiros can shoot. Ian can shoot. You can't leave those guys open. We still have no idea if Hoseby could do anything. The guy hasn't shown up outside of skinny jeans yet this year. So,
right.
I just know if you can just double Fink every play. Yes, it's effective to double, but you're giving guys open shots.
Yep.
So
I like this matchup this week. I feel like this is going to tell us it's early. We have a long season ahead of us, but I feel like this matchup this week is going to tell us a lot about the league because I like Maroon. They hustle every single play. They've got length. You know what I mean? Like Dansky out there. They got Ford who will hit a big shot when you're not expecting it, stuff like that. But then we've seen both of them. We've seen Yellow last week too. Ian can get hot. Eric plays well off the ball. I don't even know if Jose is going to be back this week as well as Sean. I think they're aiming towards playing. Sean's ankle looked pretty bad last week. He showed it to us folks. I hope get some ice on that, buddy. But this is going to be a good matchup. I'm actually excited for this one. Hopefully it's going to be a slobber knocker, But rolling off of that one.
And we have two teams on bye this week. Red and Green, the Christmas guys, are on bye.
Yep.
So only 4 games this week. Joey, take us to the last game.
That's right. Yep. We got buys now. Give guys a little bit of a break. Only 4 games throughout the night. Give us a little bit smaller schedule there. But we got the Graybeard Goats going up against us, the Baby Blue Banter. And for us, we are dogs this week, 7.5-point dogs, which I can't be mad at because we haven't won a game yet. We've lost our preseason finale. We've lost week 1. We've lost week 2. And we look pretty clunky on offense. But I believe things are moving in the right direction for us. We are, you know what I mean? We're all game planning and we all have good ideas on what we should do to get better. Obviously, week 1, we were awful from shooting perspective. Week 2, we got better. We couldn't slow Fink down, and then Ian knocked us out. Every time we could get a stop on Fink, Ian threw that, knockout punch to say, here's a timely 3, kapow. But we're gelling. We're just figuring each other out. We want to be rolling at the end of the season, not the beginning of the season. Like everyone says, you want to go into the playoffs hot, not start hot. So, Matt, what do you think about this one? 7.5-point spread.
First conference game. These are the ones that matter. We had to play a purple team. We kind of got punched in the mouth there coming off that first week. And then, we had to play, Finkenstein and Friends, which is really tough matchups. Look, Gray is the number 1 team on paper, I think, coming into the season. Everybody thought that. I think we match up pretty well against that team. And, Baby Blue Banter chat is at an all-time high. Let's just say that internally in the team, we're vibing, we're gelling. I think it can't get any worse for us. So it's only up here. I think we're going to be perfectly fine.
But with that being said, we had to come out hard this week because, like you said, Gray is the not unanimous, but pretty close to unanimously number 1 team in the league. Dennis dropped 40 last week. Silver with an almost 20-20 game. You got Camper down low, former All-Star. They have a great team, so we have to do anything we can to avoid the 0-3 hole this week coming up. But it should be fun. It's going to be an exciting week of games. As always, Tuesday night, we are live. Thank you. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Stellar Smiles down in Boca, Tiger Air, Nobody Blows Better. Love it. For my co-host, Matt, for Edie behind the scenes, he's going to edit this up for you guys. We will see you Tuesday night live.
Sounds great, everybody. Thank you again, Joey. Thank you. Guys, we'll see you on Tuesday.
Nice. That was quick, too. 30 minutes on the dot.
Yeah, that was good.